welcome to Davita's Stampin' Spot. It's Tuesday. I had planned in the back of my mind that I was going to try a live at 7 o'clock tonight, but found out I have a meeting to attend at 7. So it's a video again this week. So maybe next week I can try a live, and that way we can interact a little bit as I share a technique with you. So today I want to show you a technique that I've kind of hinted at before and we've talked about, but I used it on my swap card. We did a team swap, and I just wanted to share this card with you because I just think it has some fun different layers to it. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to show you is we're going to do these trees. Now these trees, this embossing folder is in the August to December, goodness, I can never remember that, the August to December catalog. So I'm going to take my mint macron ink, and I'm going to use a dauber. I have found that the daubers seem to transfer ink a little bit heavier and thicker than a sponge, and you can use a sponge brayer, but when you do that, you seem to get an awful lot on the brayer, and I'm, if you know me, you know I'm very frugal. So we're going to go with just the dauber here. Now I'm putting the color on the side of the folder that has the Stampin' Up! Logo on it. So that's how you can remember which side to use. You want the side that's going to make an impression on your paper. So I'm just rubbing in the embossing, or the ink here, to the embossed image. And of course I'm doing a little bit more than I need, but alright. So hopefully I got that thick enough. And of course, less is more, so it's always better to start light and move to a darker image. So then I've taken a piece of mint macron, and that's mint macron ink, and I'm going to lay it in here so that the trees are pretty much the whole piece of paper here. So like this. Okay, so you can see the embossing here. I'm going to bring up the die cutting machine and embossing machine. I love this new machine. It is so easy to use, and I've definitely given mine a workout. So for this one here, we're going to use this. So we've got the base plate 1, my folder, and then this number 4 piece. And we're going to run it through the Big Shot. Oh, not Big Shot, die cutting machine. And there it's adding some darkness to it, okay? Now, when I first did this, I was trying to use just a sponge, and it just didn't get dark enough. So what I did was I came back with my dauber and start down low, because we're going to kind of cover up some of this, so in case it's too dark. And I just added some shadow to the front trees, because if you were looking at these trees for real, these front ones would stand out because they're closer to you and they have that green color. So I'm adding to the front trees here just a little bit more of the color. Alright, so kind of like that. And see how it gives that depth. So these trees look in the front, and then these here look into the back. Okay, now you'll notice I got this extra here, and that's okay because I'm going to use that dreaded word, fussy cut. I am going to fussy cut around the trees and get rid of that ink. Now if you're real particular, you can go through all these branches, but you guys don't want to sit there and watch me cut for a long time, so I'm going to try to very quickly cut around the trees here. This stamp set is the Snow Wonder set, and I love snowmen. So every time there's a snowman set in the catalog, I have to try very hard not to buy it, because otherwise my whole collection at Christmas time would be snowmen. So I didn't buy the snowman last year, so this year I decided I could buy him. And I am so glad I got this little guy because I just think he's so stinking cute. So there we go. So there's one of the layers. All right. So for another layer, I want to do this snow here. And I think that the old world paper creates the perfect snow. So when we're using the embossing folder, now with this one I didn't do it because I put the ink on there. If you're just using regular paper, I encourage you to spray your paper with water, just a little bit. And here's a tip for you. If you don't have your water bottle and you can't find it, our mist for our stamp and scrub works. So I'm going to put it just damp into the Old World paper, and I want my snow to go this way. So I'm going to place my paper in there like that. It's got that nice line there for us. Now on this one you don't really worry about the line because it's snow. We're going to go back to our base, my embossing folder, and number 4, and crank it through. And we're going to take this out, and look how deep and rich that embossing is. Now I've played with this several times. Like I said, I made this for our swap, and I can't decide which one I think looks better for the snow. So I actually think you can probably maybe even mix and match them. So I'm going to go back with my scissors, and I want to create these snow mounds here, okay? On this one I even made the snow even higher. So I want to show you a little trick to save on paper. So what I did was I first started this one, and this is going to be my front snow. So just kind of weave around like, oh, I went the wrong direction. Oh, it'll be close. All right, so then what I did is this back one here is going to get covered up, so you don't need to come all the way down here. So what I did was, even though this is really strangely cut, I just kind of went like this and created my back hill. Okay, so that when you put them together, no one can tell. And I made all of that snow with just a very small amount of paper. We're just going to hide it behind there like that. So then what I did was I stamped my snowman with balmy blue. I love that this has dies because then it'll cut it out for us and we don't have to fussy cut our snowman. So we're going to stamp our snowman like that. Now you'll notice I didn't put the pad underneath, and you guys know why, because this isn't polymer. So it already has the sponge in there, so we don't have to worry about it. Now to save time, I went ahead and cut my snowman out, and then I used my watercolor pencils to color. This is our classic ink. You don't want to use your blender pen on this, or if you do, use it very, very lightly, because it's going to pick up that blue ink and distort your colors. So I just used the watercolor pencils and colored my snowman and then cut him out. I've always found it's easier to color first, because then you have a bigger piece of paper instead of trying to hang on to your little guy. So I cut him out. Next, I took the greeting from Christmas Gleaming, this Merry Christmas, and I stamped it just on a piece of scratch paper, and I cut it out. So look at the hands. I wanted this one to look like he was holding it. So what I did was I took his hands and I chopped them off like this and this, and then I flipped them around. Okay, maybe I better show you real quick. So we'll stamp, and I don't have, oh, I guess I do. Changes. I went with the shaded spruce so that it was a nice dark green for my color. So I'll grab that here, and I'm just going to stamp it on a piece of scratch paper. And if you're like me, I save all these pieces of paper, so I always have little pieces of white laying around. There we go. So we'll ink it up. Like that. I think that gives a really nice, clean, crisp Merry Christmas, which is nice. All right. And then I'm going to just fussy cut it, which is super simple because it's 4 straight cuts here. So this Christmas Gleaming is a repeat from last year. And Stampin' Up! Has been listening to the demonstrators, and we kept saying, we need more time to sell the Christmas sets, especially the ones that we like. So they agreed this year to bring back some of our favorites, and they're monitoring it to see whether we sell them or whether most of the sales were last year. So if you don't have this set and you like it, I would love for you to purchase it so Stampin' Up! Sees that it's valuable to bring back some of these sets. Okay, so there I cut his arms off. I know that sounds awful. And I'm going to use some dimensionals to attach it. I'll put one here. And one here. Alright, so I'm going to put it like he's holding it. And then I wanted his hands to look like he was in fact had his arms around it. So I took it like this, got my fingers where I wanted them, or my branch. Keep in mind you don't want to cover up your Merry Christmas. And fold this back behind and glue it. So I just used a glue dot on the back. This, and that way it gives that look of him holding it together. Now, I showed Kent and he was like, well, it's okay, but I'm not sure it's worth all the effort. So it's up to you how authentic you want to make, how real you want to make your snowman look. I'll try it a different way this time. I'm attaching the glue dot to the finger or the branch here. This one's a little trickier. And fold it back behind. So that's how I made it look like he was holding the sign. Okay, so now let's go back. We're going to pull in some balmy blue paper. We're going to stamp our snowflakes. You'll notice I have this really pretty mat today, and I want to thank Trisha Roberts for that. For our team meeting, she bought the brand new placemats that Stampin' Up! Has started selling. And it shows all of our new in colors, and I just think it's really nice and pretty because it's a darkness instead of the light like we have with our white. I'm going to go back to the balmy blue and stamp my snowflakes. Looks like this is another one, ink pad, that needs to be re-inked. Oh, there we go. And I don't need to go down very far because our trees are going to be glued on top of this. So now if I take and mount my trees here, you'll see that it's, we didn't need to go down very far. Okay, so you see we've got this layer here, then because of our coloring, it looks like we have 2 layers of trees. Then we're going to add our snow to the top of that. So I'm going to lay these here and pretend that I glued it since I went the wrong direction with my snow. And they always say to make it real, right? Well, I'm making it real today. And then what I did was I put the back layer down, glued it down just with regular glue, and then I put glue along the bottom of this one and on the sides just a little bit. But where I knew I was going to stick my snowman in, I didn't put adhesive here. I put it on the front of him, so that it layers down like that. Now I did try with this one, and I used some crystal effects to add so the snow sparkles, but I doubt that you're going to be able to see that here on the video. And then I added some of our blue adhesive backed gems. There's some that have kind of a gold look to them, and then others that have the clear. So for this one, I chose the clear look and just gave it to the snowflakes to have a little sparkle up there. So that's your card for today. I mounted it on white, which is very unusual for me. I don't use a white base very often. But the nice thing is then you can stamp your greeting on the inside And of course I had to add a snowflake and then put my name on the back. So I used the Christmas Gleaming, the Merry Christmas here, and the Snow Wonder, the Snowman and the Snowflakes, and the greeting from here. And then the Pine Trees embossing folder. Oh my goodness. Can you tell I've been at school all day? And then the Old World paper, 3D paper. I think this is probably one of my favorite embossing folders. I find I'm using it all the time. So I wanted to share with you that starting here in October, I am going to try to do some in-person events. This week I am teaching a class, and I will post, I think I've already posted it on the Facebook page, but we are going to do some embossing on the Life is Beautiful tree and try to recreate those gorgeous moons that we've seen. Unfortunately, it's because of the forest fires that have been ravaging our country, but the moon has just been incredible, and the sun for that matter. So we're going to make a card with that. I'm going to show you the triple layer technique. Again, they're going to get to make that at class. One of our mountain air sets, we're using that. And I think the pictures are all posted there on Facebook. I am trying to secure a location for next Saturday, not this week, but a week from this week, this Saturday, for a bingo event. So if you enjoy bingo and cards, it's going to be Buddy Bingo. Encourage you to bring a new stamping friend with you. You'll get extra bingo cards if you bring a buddy with you. So I will be posting those details. I've just been holding off until I can secure a location. Having a little bit of trouble getting that worked out. And then the Autumn Goodness set is at the end of the month. And I have a one-sheet wonder. I do have those cards here. Shall I show you real quick? These are a few of them. You make 12 cards from one sheet of designer series paper. And the first paper I grabbed is the paper that goes with the Christmas Gleaming set. So I'll just lay these out here while I'm talking. So you'll come to class and you can purchase, several of the designer series papers are at 15% off. Unfortunately, I grabbed a paper that isn't included, but you'll pick one of the papers. I will give you the cardstock to match that paper so that you can make all these different cards. So here I cut off the bottom, so it's a fun fold there. There's another one, a fun fold that goes that way. This one, another one, another. This one here goes at an angle, and I think that might be all of them. Yep, that's all of them. So this class is going to be on a, I believe it's a Friday night and Friday afternoon. I'm offering it. I'll have to check the dates on this one. It's going to be posted there on the Facebook page and sending out with emails. 4 people to a class when you come to my home, and I'll ask that you wear masks. I'm going to have 2 different tables, so 2 people at a table spread out to try to limit germs. So we can get together and stamp again because I've really missed everyone. So I hope you enjoyed my card today. Here's my little snowman one more time. I'll show you both different cards, one where he's holding the Merry Christmas and another where he isn't. I hope I get to see you at a live event this week. Have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday.